In chemistry and working problems related to elements and compounds, sometimes we need to know the mass of a molecule or the mass of a formula unit, the compound's mass. And the way we do that is to use a periodic table. Remember we said, and we'll pick on carbon just briefly. Remember we already said that the symbol for carbon is C. And in a periodic table, you'll see a number 6, meaning that that's the atomic number of protons, right? And then you'll also, for most periodic tables, go ahead and see what I call the decimal number. And we talked about this. I'll just kind of remind you that that decimal number for carbon is 12.01 actually is the weight of that atom, the average atomic weight of an atom of carbon. And do you remember I said it's in units of U's? That's atomic mass units. So that's kind of a review. Mass units. So here we go. If we want to know, I'm going to go ahead and do an example here. What if we have a water molecule and we want to know how many AMUs that water molecule is? Well, that's not so bad. And you have to show your work for this sort of calculation. I'm going to go ahead and say there's 2 hydrogens, and I'll look up the decimal number for hydrogen. The periodic table we're going to be using actually has it out to the nearest, or has it out to 3 decimal places. So 1.008 AMUs, okay, or U's. So that's how much one weighs, and we have 2 of them. And we have to add the oxygen part. For a water molecule, there's only 1 oxygen atom. I'm kind of in the habit of going ahead and putting the number 1 there, even though it doesn't change the answer. And the decimal number for oxygen is 16.00. So this is for hydrogen, and that's for oxygen. And we add it up. And your calculator will say, I'm not sure. But, well, here's my calculator. Let me see what it says. So I have 2 times 1.008 plus 1 times 16. Okay, good. 18.016, and then units would be AMUs, or the symbol U for AMUs. So that would be fine, but I'm going to tell you that we kind of need to round according to 2 decimals as was introduced by the oxygen. So the best answer actually for the weight of a water molecule will be 18.0 rounded to 2 decimals, 18.02 U's or AMUs. So that's it. That is actually what we call the molecular mass of a water molecule. So I've got some, we did this one, right? Got some, I'm going to turn you loose on a quiz question here in a minute. So this was 18.02 U's. In the meantime, let me go ahead and do one more example. I'm going to pick on, I have it actually ready to go in my notes here. We're going to pick on, this is called ammonium sulfide. And remember we talked about the fact that if you see a compound that has a part of it's in parentheses and there's a number outside that parentheses, that number outside the parentheses actually is how many of those units you have. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the formula of ammonium sulfide like this. I actually have 2 nitrogens, and hydrogens I have 8. Do you see where that came from? Because I have 2 NH4s, so that gives me 2 nitrogen atoms, 8 hydrogen atoms, and 1 sulfur atom. And you can write a formula like that. It doesn't give as much information as the other one, but that's perfectly fine. So to come up with how many AMUs that would weigh, I'm going to take 2 times the decimal number for nitrogen, which is 14. Make sure I get this right, 01, plus 8 times the decimal number for hydrogen, 1.008. plus 1 times the decimal number for sulfur, which is 32.07. Okay, and my calculator actually, it was going to display 68.154, and units, don't forget units, are going to be U's or AMUs, atomic mass units, U's. So that would be fine if you want to go with that. I will tell you, again, we kind of run into the rounding according to just simply 2 decimals like we did with water. So an even better answer would be 68.15 U's or AMUs. That is how much one of those weighs, ammonium sulfide. Not too bad. Okay, so we just did this one together. Don't worry about magnesium nitrate, but I do want to take just a minute and let's go ahead and write down here what, we're not going to work it, but so that would be what? 1 mg nitrogens. How many nitrogens? Well, must be 2 nitrogens. How many oxygens? Must be 6. Okay. So actually then, don't worry about this one because it's a little bit longer, but, well, I guess you could have. So just go ahead and as a video quiz, you need to go ahead and, goodness, can't spell, do these 3. You can call this A if you want to, this B, and this C. So come up with the weight of one of those repeating units.